You probably shouldn't shoot at a cop. Shooting at a cop is not a good idea. You couldn't pay me enough fucking money to be there in that guy. They run to danger. Cops run to danger. How do you defend somebody like this? Very difficult. Very, very difficult because there's no justification for what you're doing because it's just straight up criminal behavior. It's violent. It's dangerous. It's deadly.
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Well, who is he? Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And who is he? Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And what he do? And it's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, and guess what I am? I'm your board-certified personal criminal defense lawyer, along with our content genius, Michael Rivers, who's behind the camera, behind the plan, behind the gift of these pearl-handle pistol cufflinks that help us bring to you content that we're proud of, content that does two things. One, it shows you how stupid some people can be, but it also, we try to inform you and give you points of the law that kind of put things into context and that you can use in your daily lives. Because we care about you guys. We do. But before we get on to today's episode, this is brought to you by eSign.com. eSign.com is a very effective way to remotely do business. Let's say you're getting shot at on the side of the road and you need to make sure all your affairs are in order, but you can't get to either a fax machine or into the office. So what you do is you download the app, you get 3 free signatures a month, you get your power of attorney sent to you by the lawyer email, and you're able to do business on the side of the road just by the business of your own phone. I use it all the time. Whether I have somebody sign a retainer agreement via e-sign or power of attorney, or sometimes I even have them sign releases of information to get records, that kind of thing. You can do it for just about any kind of agreement. eSign.com, very effective way to remotely do business. Now, one of my constant themes about police officers is they have a difficult job. They absolutely have one. I wouldn't give you 2 plug nickels for being a cop because it's so dangerous. They run into situations that are unpredictable a lot of times. And I think it's just they need to be respected. They need to be checked, but they also need to be respected. You probably shouldn't shoot at a cop. Shooting at a cop is not a good idea. The title is this: Georgia man shoots at cop with AK-47 after deadly high-speed chase. The other thing you shouldn't do is you shouldn't run from the cops either, unless you have a really damn good reason, unless it makes more sense for you to run than it does for you to stay. Remember what I said? You never commit a felony to avoid a misdemeanor. You also don't snitch on yourself. But you also don't run and you don't shoot at the guy. Don't put yourself in a bad position. Although if it weren't for people making these kind of bad choices, I wouldn't have a job. So let's just get it right into this. So he gets out to give somebody a ticket. They're already fleeing from him.
We're now getting a first-hand look at a Georgia car chase turned shootout that left multiple officers injured.
So now take a look at that gun sitting outside the window. Sometimes it makes more sense to let somebody go. When it's a low-level case and they're going like a bat out of hell, and if you back off, you probably have their, unless it's a stolen car, you probably have their contact information anyway, right? Because you run their plate and you can see where the vehicle belongs. But when you see a firearm outside the vehicle like that, that's dangerous, really dangerous. So the cops are, justified in going after these people.
Suspect killed and another with a lifetime prison sentence. It happened.
You couldn't pay me enough fucking money to be there in that guy. They run to danger. Cops run to danger. I'm a little bit of a coward myself.
On April 12th, 2021 in Carroll County, Georgia, west of Atlanta. That's where a Georgia State Patrol trooper stopped a Nissan Sentra driving more than 100 miles per hour.
And that's the other thing. If you're sitting there with a gun, unless you just came from another scene, which is probably the case, which is why they're going 100 miles an hour, if you're carrying contraband, you don't break traffic laws to draw attention to yourself.
Along the interstate. Investigators later determined the driver was Aaron Shelton. His cousin, Pierre Shelton, was in the passenger seat. As
Young guys. Young, stupid guys. You know, a decision to do this alters lives, alters everybody's life that's involved.
dash camera video shows, at first, the driver doesn't stop for the trooper.
This makes no sense, except for the fact that they've got contraband and they know they're going to get busted. And if somebody's got a felony on their record and they're in possession of a firearm, generally federally you're looking at a 5-year mandatory minimum, and most states have some kind of mandatory minimum. Because when you're a felon, you can't own a firearm or possess one.
Eventually, though, the car pulls to the side of the road.
Now, cop standards already up because this guy's going like a bat out of hell and going in excess of 100 miles an hour. That just doesn't make sense to me. But the only thing that makes sense is maybe he's running from something else. And you can hear the cop's music in the background. So while he's doing this high-speed chase, he's got the tunes going.
Car pulls to the side of the road.
It's old brother, where art thou? You listen to the cop. He just got the tunes going. I don't know. Is that on the? It's got to be in his car.
Yeah, I think so.
So, unless somebody's being funny with the video, "Oh Brother Where Art Thou" is actually about a prison escape. So he's chasing somebody listening to "Oh Brother Where Art Thou." That's pretty hilarious.
But when the trooper gets out to approach the Nissan, it speeds off. Dash camera video shows the initial chase as Aaron Shelton attempts to outrun the trooper.
And here's the other thing. I don't care how fast you go, you can't outrun a radio. Whether it's a helicopter or other troopers that are on the road, they can call ahead, unless they're short-staffed, which some departments are. But they can call ahead and lay down a spike strip. They can do all kinds of stuff. And when I see this, it's so dangerous because anybody could fly in at any moment from any angle. When you have these chases, it's dangerous to the officer, it's dangerous to the people on the street, and it's also dangerous to the people who are engaged in running. If you see those lights coming, best thing you can do is get the hell out of the way.
Soon, the trooper gains on Shelton's vehicle. As dash camera video...
Now that's a pit maneuver. Pit maneuvers, you can see he just pushes one side of the car so it spins around, and so he loses control.
Continues. The initial trooper zeroes in on the suspect's car and taps it as it drives along. The car veers out of frame before straightening out once again. Next.
Look at that. And then he pulls a fucking gun. How dumb is that? How dumb is that?
Pierce Shelton can be seen from the passenger side of the Nissan pulling out an AK-47. He points the gun back at the Georgia State Trooper and opens fire.
Shots fired, shots fired.
As the chase continues, multiple other units respond to the call.
Remember what I said? I don't care how fast your car is, it's not faster than the radio. And reinforcement come, and what are you going to do as a stupid little dumb shit? You're armed to the teeth with an AK. How dumb?
Including county sheriffs, local police officers.
You think about it, if he's got an AK-47, something like that is not designed, because you wear armor when you're a cop, right? They wear bulletproof vests, but those are not designed to stop, a bigger round, like a deer round, or a 223 or a 7.62. I'm not sure exactly how bulletproof those are, but it definitely can knock you on your ass.
Dash camera video from other first responders shows them joined together in the search for Shelton and his cousin.
Wearing a yellow hoodie. Floorboard.
6-6, back off of them, back off of them, back off. Let's see what they do. Dispatch, we're right here.
Sometimes backing off is the right thing to do, because what they're doing by chasing him is escalating the situation, right? Well, I mean, and it's not the cop's fault by any means, but it does escalate it. And if you back off and you just kind of try to keep an eye on where they're going, especially since now they've got a helicopter, but if there's shots fired, you got a bigger issue. You've got, the general public now to think of, instead of just the crimes that they're committing or that they have committed. Now that, is there somebody else they're going to shoot at and potentially kill?
Going 69 miles an hour. I'm waiting to see what we do. We're turning right on Bankhead Highway. All right, get me some people up here. Let's get ready to do felony stop. If not, we will pit.
Pit, that's what he's talking about, flipping the car around.
Carrollton Police Sergeant Rob Holloway can be heard on body camera video calling out instructions during the chase.
All right, back off just a little. We're going to follow at this distance. Dispatch, we are going 60 miles an hour. Bankhead Highway, we're passing Barnes Store. Get Villarica set up.
The whole idea behind, this is no different than a baseball team. When you go to two, or when you kind of narrate what's going on out on the field, you got situational awareness. So this cop to tell everybody where he's going, what he's doing, how fast he's going, it gives a pace as to what's going on, and everybody has more of a situational awareness by him narrating what he's doing.
Bikes at Bay Springs.
Buffalo with some kind of A-frame, something up under it. Definitely an AR stop.
Hey, just make sure we're backed off just enough, okay? I'm going to try to turn on my scene lights. Dispatch, we are going about 90 miles an hour. We are coming up on Old Airport Road.
But only a minute later, shots are fired toward Holloway.
They're hitting their brakes. I'm waiting to see what they're about to do. Chief went back off of them.
And it's far, the crime of fleeing the police, in the broad scheme of crimes that you can be charged with, is not that big a deal. I mean, it's a big deal because it's a felony, but it's not, on the list of crimes, it's not way up there. However, taking a firearm and using it against a police officer is ridiculously dangerous, and it's also one of the most serious things you can be charged with. And not to mention the fact that it's dangerous to your own existence. And the odds of you being successful after firing at the cops is extremely remote, especially when you've got, all these other officers, and a helicopter following you.
229, you got Grand V Connor. You ain't got to worry about spikes.
I know, but I don't want to get up here where they're moving around. I'd rather just go ahead and disable them.
Sergeant Holloway was shot in the head and crashed his squad car as a result. Dash camera video from Holloway's squad car shows the same moments from a different angle.
See, look at that. He's probably out at that point, and so that's why his vehicle goes out of control. And for what? What is that for? Let's look at the root cause of this. And this isn't some, poor son of a bitch who's being manipulated by the cops or being harassed by the cops. This is somebody shooting at the police officer and him crashing his squad. For what? For what?
These same moments of Holloway's crash were also captured by another officer's dash camera.
Shots fired in the right. Jump for it, quick. 10-4, all units 10-3, 10-33. 229, somebody check on 229.
As the crime unfolds, video shows officers on the scene take cover, ducking behind parked squad cars.
So, one of the things about my job, how do you defend somebody like this? Very difficult. Very, very difficult, because there's no justification for what you're doing. Because it's just straight up criminal behavior, right? It's violent, it's dangerous, it's deadly, and nothing but the book getting thrown at you would be demanded by society.
Video then shows some officers move to a new location. This video shows the perspective of Carrollton police officer Chase Gordy, who also responded to the scene. Gordy can be seen taking cover in front of his squad car as shots ring out in the distance.
Now, they're sort of sitting ducks here in a sense, because I don't know that they know where the shots are coming from.
Soon, gunshots are fired directly at Gordy. Gordy can be seen calling for help as the gunfire continues.
You better fucking cinch up that that vest. So they're kind of outgunned in the sense that they're using handguns, and the other thing's got a AK-47, which is a very, very powerful weapon.
For only 2 seconds, a suspect is seen in front of the squad car, gun in hand.
Okay, he doesn't look that young, actually. But what an idiot. And the only thing I can think of is that he doesn't want to go back to prison, and no one's going to take him alive. That's all I can think of. Because there's no rational person would get into a gunfight with cops.
Officer Gordy's body camera video captures these same moments from another perspective.
He's on my car! He's on my car! He's behind my car!
In all, 3 first responders were shot and injured: Gordy, Holloway, and Deputy Jay Repetto. Pierce Shelton, also died in the incident. Aaron Shelton was arrested and indicted on 22 counts, including felony murder, felony fleeing, and aggravated assault of law enforcement officers.
Mr. Shelton, it wasn't a father-son team. It was his cousin, and he was found guilty of more than 20 charges, and the felony murder charge was for his cousin's death. So can you imagine that? He's responsible for the death of his cousin for the way things kind of unfolded. So over what? Why did they flee? Why did they continue to go 100 miles an hour past a cop when they're got a fucking machine gun in their midst? And it's just dumb. Just absolutely senseless. Changed a lot of lives. Could have killed more people. Thank God they didn't. And now somebody that's that dangerous is locked up. And here's the thing. I'm a defense lawyer. I'm supposed to be sympathetic to the defendants, right? But not in a situation like this. I mean, how do you defend this? There's no way to defend it. Unless you say, he was holding me at gunpoint, I didn't know what, But it's just tragic because somebody's life is lost. So this has been our little reaction to Georgia man shoots at cop with an AK-47. And Mr. Shelton, he wound up getting a life sentence. What a waste. Just a waste. For nothing. For literally nothing. I don't understand. There's certain crimes that I do understand. I can see a heat of passion when you catch your wife in bed with another man and you blow the guy away. Sure. I mean, would I do that? No. But you can understand where the... Can you understand like somebody stealing a lot of money? Yeah, greed. You can understand where the greed comes from. I don't really understand domestic assaults, but I don't understand this. This just seems stupid. And, it just riding around with an AK in the car and hey, let's get chased by the cops. Glad that none of the cops were killed in this, and we'll live to see another day. So we'll see you next time here in Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers. Make sure you subscribe, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, sign up for Patreon. And we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts.
Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away. Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away.
23-hour lockdown, police is at my call.